Yo, it's FPL bringing you the stats, top picks, hot tips, all the league facts. They say root, that's all the flow. Subscribe, hit the bell. Welcome to the show.
Good day, mate. Welcome back to the channel. I'm FPL and welcome back to another FPL video. In today's video, I'm going to be going through my transfer tips ahead of the deadline tonight. Also going to be looking at how I got on in game week 26, how my assistant manager got on. Also looking forward to my team selection ahead of game week 27. First of all, if you are new to the channel, please make sure you do subscribe and smash a like on this video. So first up, I wanted to talk about Matheus Cunha, a player that I'm looking to bring in this game week. 6.9 million, 11.9% owned, so he's still kind of a differential, just about. Also, this season, he's had a pretty good season, if you ask me. So 23 starts, 13 goals, 4 assists. Considering how bad Wolves have been for the majority of the season, to be honest with you, I think that return is ridiculous. And he's scored 3 games in a row now, and not against the easiest teams, against Villa at home, Liverpool away, and against Bournemouth away in that 1-0 victory in game week 26. So for me, the geezer's on fire. 6.1 points per start. He's expected to score 23 points over the next 4 game weeks, which is Fulham at home, Everton at home, 2 really nice home fixtures, Southampton away, and then West Ham at home. So 3 home fixtures in the next 4, and then the away one being Southampton in that blank game week 29. For me, if you're not free hitting in 29, I think Cunha, I think he's essential, to be honest with you. I was going to say I would recommend it, but I actually do think he's essential. The fact that Wolves have started to pick up a bit of form, I'd say. They got 2 wins out of the last 3, which is pretty good for them, considering they've only got 4 wins out of the last previous 20 games. So Cunha's still been scoring, whether they win, loss, draw. For me, yeah, I think I like him as an option, and 6.9 million is a good price as well for people that are jumping off Ollie Watkins. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and we'll move on to the next player. Next up, we've got Jarrod Bowen, who has now jumped up in price to 7.4 million. He's still only around 5% owned, 6% owned, so still a massive differential. 5.1 points per start and 18.2 points he's expected over the next 4. Bowen has had a bit of a mixed season. He did start off okay, 7 goals, 6 assists in total, 22 starts, but he did go through a period where he was injured for 4 games he missed in a row. Other than that, he's been pretty consistent all season, apart from that kind of middle patch where Lopetegui was coming to the end of his time at West Ham. But now with Graham Potter, 2 goals in his last 3 since back from injury, I think Bowen can be a nice option to go for. And West Ham, after that victory against Arsenal, are going to want to push on. And I think Leicester at home up next is the perfect game to do that. Then they've got Newcastle at home, Everton away in the blank, gate 29, and then Wolves at home. So some really nice home fixtures for Jarrod Bowen. Also, something to bear in mind is that Newcastle fixture is it's the Monday before they play in the Carabao Cup final against Liverpool. That is Newcastle, that is not West Ham. So the fact that they get to play Newcastle, 5-6 days before they play in a final, I think that could be a really nice option to bring in Bowen, because I think Newcastle potentially could be resting some players for that fixture, Monday night fixture away at West Ham. But other than that, Bowen has always been consistent. He's playing up front at the minute. Obviously, Evan Ferguson can come in and take the position, but for now, I do think Bowen's spot up front is guaranteed, and the fact that he's on penalties as well is a good option. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and we'll get on to the next player. So next up, we have Bruno Fernandes. It comes in at 8.3 million. Bruno managed to get the goal in Man United's last game against Everton away, a free kick. Obviously, Man United have had a terrible season, but Bruno Fernandes has still done not too bad. 5 goals and 7 assists, so not his best return, but still respectable. And it's the fixtures for Man United. So they've got Ipswich at home, then Arsenal at home, which will be tough, but then they've got Leicester away. So Ipswich and Leicester in their next 2 games. Bruno on pens. Can Man United start to turn their performances around? To be honest, I'm not too sure. For me, I think there are better options out there for that price point and cheaper to be going for someone like Bruno Fernandes. But if you did want to go for a differential, he's only 8.3% owned. Um, Two great fixtures in the next three. I think it's worth the punt, but for me, I think there are better options like Bowen, as we've mentioned, and like a few that are going to come up next. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section below, and we'll get on to the next player. Next up, we have the three Bournemouth boys, the three Bournemouth midfielders, Semenyo, Cliver, and Dango. They're coming at 5.7, 6 million, and 5.2 million. Obviously, Dango is the one playing up front. However, Evan Nilsson is now back from injury and was on the bench for Bournemouth's last game. Clivert's on pens. So for me, Cliver is the standard option. I know Semenyo, um, on the stats wise, in terms of expected points, he is the better option. But for me, Cliver has been the clear option this season in terms of goals. 13 goals for him. It also got 5 assists. Semenyo, not far behind him, but 7 goals, 5 assists. And then Dango, who's only really been playing of recently, 7 goals and 4 assists. So in terms of points per start, they're all pretty similar, but Dango is clear because of the fact that he hasn't really started that many games. Coming next to Cliver. For me, if you're going to go for one now, it is Cliver, but I'd actually wait. I think Brighton away and Spurs away up next are not the easiest games. I would wait until game week 29, where they do have Brentford at home and then Ipswich at home in game week 30. But if you do own, I'd be keeping. Also, I would be worried about Dango's minutes slightly because of the fact that Evan Nilsson is back and potentially could be playing in that upfront spot. But Areola has come out and said that he is not ready to start. And for me, I think he should be safe for the next few game weeks. For me, though, Cliver is definitely the safe pick with the fact that he's on pens and the fact that he's pretty much guaranteed to start. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and we'll move on to the next few players. We have Everton forward Beto. He comes in at 5 million. He's 4.2% owned, 11.2 points per start, and he's expected 16.4 points over the next 4 game weeks, which is Brentford away, Wolves away, West Ham at home, and Liverpool away. So not the easiest games, and 3 of them are away. But Beto has been in great form recently. He scored 5 goals in his last 4 games, which is incredible. 2 against Leicester, 1 against Liverpool, 1 against Crystal Palace, 1 against Man United. So ever since he's been starting regular, he has been doing very, very well. It is 6 goals and 5 assists. Obviously, this is only because Njai and Calvert-Lewin are out. If they're back, then I don't see Beto starting for Everton. But having said that, with his form at the minute, can they really drop him? For me, though, he is a great price, and if you do need to drop a forward down to that price, then he is a good option. But I would try and find the extra money and get someone like Cunha personally, because I think he is more nailed. And when Njai and Cavalier in the back, there is always minutes risk for Beto. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and we'll move on to the next players. So now we have 3 Aston Villa midfielders: Rodgers, Rashford, and Asensio. 5.7 Rodgers comes in at, 6.6 Rashford, 6 million Asensio. Obviously, Asensio and Rashford have just come in after the January transfer window, but they've both made a huge, huge impact as of late, and they absolutely smashed it in game week 26. Asensio with 2 goals. He did start that game, and he did start the Liverpool at home game as well. So you could argue that he is going to be a starter. Rashford has only started that Liverpool game in game week 25, and then he came off the bench against Chelsea to get 2 assists, but 3 assists for him so far this season. And he does look very, very good as well. He's been very threatening. For me, though, I would be taking out Rodgers because of the fact that his form's been terrible. He has got a slight knock, and he might miss the next game against Brighton. Whether I take him out for Asensio and Rashford, I think that just depends on whether you're free hitting in 29. If you're free hitting in 29, then maybe someone like Asensio or Rashford. But I prefer Rashford, to be honest with you. But even then, I still think there are better options. I think you're better off kind of putting that money into potentially a Bournemouth midfielder. Even if you're looking at other teams that are blanking in game week 29, if you are free hitting, maybe Anthony Gordon could be an option. But for me, I haven't seen enough to say that Rashford and Asensio are going to be starting. And Villa do have a few options now on the wings and in that number 10 slot that I do think it is risky. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and move on to the next player. So next up is Wolves defender Out Nori. Wolves have been looking much better recently under their manager, and Out Nori is always a threat from attacking threat. And the fact that Wolves do look better, they could start seeing some clean sheets. He's 4.7 million, 5% owned, so massive differential. Only 3 points per start, but that's because of the dreadful season Wolves have had overall. 3 goals, 5 assists for him, though. So attacking wise, he's up there. Um, Brilliant fixtures for Wolves. So Fulham at home, Everton at home, Southampton away, West Ham at home. I can see at least 2 clean sheets, well, about 2 clean sheets in these 4 games. And attacking threat is always good for a goal and assist. It's just 4.7 million, probably is slightly steep for, I'd say, a team that is just above relegation. I think there are better defenders out there that do play for better defensive teams. But attacking wise, yeah, he's up there definitely. Obviously, if you are free hitting in 29, I'd probably go for someone like out Muniz for Palace. But if you're not, then I think Out Nori could be an option to go for. Next up, we will be talking about my team preview ahead of the game week, and let's get into it. So we'll start off with the manager, Glasner. I did go for Glasner. I was actually really close to going to Van Nistelrooy, but yeah, a phone call with a mate meant that I changed my mind and I went for Glasner. Yeah, 20 points, incredible clean sheet, 2 goals. Yeah, kind of saved my game week. It should have been the thing to push me up the game week, but the rest of my team were pretty terrible, I'd say, especially my differentials. Pickford with a blank. I thought I was going to get a clean sheet there for sure, but Man United did score 2 late goals. Nico Williams conceded 4 goals against Newcastle. Robinson conceded 2 against Palace, and then Virgil ended up keeping a clean sheet. Dango blanks. Obviously, Bournemouth had 10 men, so that was a tough one for him. Rogers blanked again. Um, yeah, shocking to be honest. This season, 6 goals, 5 assists. Considering how well he started, it is really, really bad. Salah does what Salah does: another goal, another assist, and then Palmer blanks again as well. Watkins with a blank, so that Chelsea Villa game was shocking for me, considering um, I did have 3 players from that game, and also the Newcastle Forest game was actually not too bad for me because I did have Chris Wood with an assist. Would have been nice to get a goal considering I did score 3, and then Isak with 2 goals. Overall, I should be happy with this game week because I did get a green arrow, and it was a pretty okay green arrow, about 100,000. But to be honest, I wanted to get into the top 1 million at least. And I had a tricky start to the season, and I'm trying to claw that back and hopefully not get my worst ever finish. But I'm going to be making some bold transfers, and we'll get on to that up next. So this is how my team is lining up ahead of game week 27. So Pickford in goal with Brentford away, Virgil with Newcastle at home, and then I am playing Estupinan. He was on the bench and he did come on for Brighton in their win against Southampton in game week 26. I think he should be starting this game. It could be too soon, but I think he should be starting this game. And Lamptey has played well, but I think the fact that my other 2 defenders are not great at all. With Nico Williams, Arsenal at home, and then Fires a Leicester defender. I don't even know why I've got him, to be honest with you, with West Ham away. So I'm going to risk it and go for Estupinan. Robinson has Wolves away. Not ideal, and he has kind of dried up of late. But again, I don't really want to be making any defensive transfers at the minute. Salah, captain, Newcastle at home. Bowen is my transfer in. So I have taken out Rodgers and brought in Jared Bowen. I think for me, I've mentioned it in this video already, but the fixtures, the fact that he's playing up front, he's on pens, I think it's the fact that he's consistent anyway, even when West Ham are bad, but I do think they're getting better. And Leicester at home, I think, will be a good game for him. Palmer with Southampton at home. The tough one, I potentially could be swapping to Palmer as my captain, but I think Salah's just unstoppable at the minute, and Chelsea look very, very bad. That it wouldn't surprise me if they do um, end up not winning against Southampton, even though Southampton are terrible. Dango with Brighton away is going to be a tough game for him, but I've got to stick with it until game week 29 onwards because they do have Brentford at home, Ipswich at home, and then Chris Wood I'm going to play against Arsenal at home. I think Forest will win this game, to be honest with you. And I think Chris Wood always loves playing against Arsenal and scoring against Arsenal. Isak, yeah, it's a tough one with Isak because obviously it's the toughest fixture he can possibly get, but he's on fire. City away didn't do anything, so could argue that against Liverpool that it could be the same, but there's no way I'm taking him out. I think he's on fire at the minute, so Isak's staying in the team. Cunha is my transfer in. I've already mentioned it in this video, but Cunha, Fulham at home, very, very good fixture, I feel like, at the minute. And then Everton at home, and then Southampton away, West Ham at home, Ipswich away. So some nice fixtures for Cunha. Overall, this is a -4. I've still got 1.5 million in the bank, so I could do another move for another -4. I just don't think it's worth it at the minute, unless I'm taking out Newcastle, Liverpool player. I've taken out both my Villa players, so don't need to worry about that. But Newcastle and Liverpool really the only ones I should be moving on. I could bolster up the bench and maybe play one of them. So like Fias could come out and bring in another defender that is going to play in Gameweek 29. But at the minute, I just don't like any of them in terms of their fixtures. I could go for a Reece James potentially, but then Chelsea have got Arsenal in Gameweek 29. So for now, these are going to be our moves, -4. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and good luck for the game week.